welcome to Robot House. We are live. I'm sorry for the lack of content the last couple weeks, but real life got in the way.
Plus, we had to do a mock promise of we'll do a video whenever we get NX information, and Nintendo called our bluff.
Yes. But we're back for Halloween. And that can only mean one thing.
Christmas.
Yes. Now about the hot toys. No. We are going to talk about Halloween all month. We'll do some other videos for like Pokemon news as it comes available, but we are going to do holidays right, folks, I promise. So this month is all about Halloween stuff. Thanksgiving, we're going to do episode recaps of Over the Garden Wall, because I love that, and that's the most Thanksgiving show. That's a little Halloween too, but it's more about Thanksgiving. But we'll get there.
We'll just watch Garfield's Thanksgiving and
probably watch that one.
Live commentary.
Do they even show that one anymore?
What, Garfield or
Garfield?
You can barely find Garfield on TV anywhere, I think, anymore from the old days.
Yeah.
I don't even think... I think Boomerang might have Garfield and Friends, but...
Boomerang doesn't know what it is anymore.
No. All they have is the CGI schlock that they have now.
Yeah.
And the
Bill Murray. The new Powerpuff Girls on Boomerang in a year.
Feel nostalgic about how terrible it was.
So today we're going to talk about video games that get us in the mood for Halloween. Not necessarily scary video games, mind you. But just video games that have a sort of that fall theme. Make you feel like maybe pumpkin is pretty good. It should be in everything. I myself am drinking a pumpkin spice Coke right now.
I'm calling that bluff.
Call the emergency room, Mark. I don't think I should have done that. We'll do that at the end. No, I would never put pumpkin spice in Coca-Cola. I would die.
It's the pumpkin spice challenge, Jason. We're going to start it right now. Put that shit in Coke right now.
Well, it's only nutmeg and cinnamon. I'm going to tell you folks right now, there's no pumpkin in it. It's what you put in a pumpkin pie, basically. Maybe we'll do a pumpkin spice challenge and see what happens. I have an idea of what'll happen. Maybe we should just use the Family Guy clip and be done with it.
Put it in Ecto Cooler.
Oh, God, no. Oh, God, no. I should be drinking Ecto Cooler. Oh, well. So, anyway, let's get on to the video games. First up, Super Mario World, after you beat the Special Land.
Ah, okay.
Yes. Everyone Bowser doesn't. He has some religious issues. And his minions aren't allowed to celebrate if they're in a fortress. But everyone else wears a mask. All the turtles, most of the enemies. And part of it is memory limitation, so I think they could have fixed that in remakes. But just the whole game gets a palette shift. And it's neat. It really puts you in a fall mood. And to top it off, you can finally eat Mario's head. Something you've tried to do for years. I assume. The yellow Mario, when it becomes an invincible turtle, is kind of creepy, though.
Yeah, I've not had much experience with Mario World, but I do know what you mean. It is pretty neat.
It's one of the better Easter eggs, especially if you're a kid and you're like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, this is back when games actually did stuff and you didn't know that it was coming.
Yeah.
Like maybe if you had gotten the Mario World Player's Guide or something, but other than that...
I don't even think it's mentioned there. It just says there's a surprise waiting for you after you beat the Special World. This was actually a little bit before Player's Guides, so it would have been Nintendo Power, and I don't think they would have spoiled it.
Or one of them fancy Nintendo like Game Genie books or whatever.
Yeah.
That's how you use the tether in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yes. or call the Nintendo hotline. I wonder how many calls they got. I think I broke my game. It's not something they've done since. And I think that's what makes Mario World special. I've never really cared for the art style. I've never made a secret of that. I think it's the ugliest Mario game. But that, the Halloween palette swap is still one of the best parts of it.
Yeah, my first experience with Mario World was via the GBA. I don't know if it does
That's
it.
the best version, by far. They fixed Luigi's sprite so that he looks like Luigi. They fixed Mario so he looks a little more like Mario. It's a better version of the game. Visually, I can't say technically. Obviously, the GBA, not a lot of horsepower.
No.
But and also it's missing many buttons that Mario World needs. But other than that, yeah,
I agree. But how far would you what about, how did you feel about the ghost houses? Would that fit too?
yeah. Well, the ghost houses were in 3, so I expected them. I would say there are a couple where you genuinely do get freaked out. Like the Big Boo battle, where you're eating your own floor away to kill him. That one always got me. The ghost ship was pretty neat.
Okay.
Yeah, but I mean that's about it. They're never really scary. They get scarier in other Mario games, though.
Oh,
They play more with the ghost concept.
yeah, like in Mario 3D World, I think those are probably some of the best ghost
They're
houses.
some of the most devious ones.
The ones where the flagpoles are fake and the floor is getting chomped away.
Yeah. There's one with lanterns. Ugh. You're
Falling
basically
into...
racing against the clock to get away from these things that are eating the floor. That might be Mario Galaxy.
Why not both?
Yeah. Their ghost houses are pretty weird, too.
The ones where Mario falls in darkness and he just disintegrates.
Yeah.
A family game.
Well, he's fine. He gets right back up.
He's got a one-up. He's fine.
Yeah.
You know, by an honorable, I know it's early for an honorable mention / extent, but I would also say that the Dupless channel chapter in Thousand Year Door.
Yeah, it is pretty creepy.
You're going up that. You're going through the town, the Twilight Town. And,
Yeah, there's a little body horror in it too.
yeah.
Yeah, I can see that.
Dupless is a ghost, and it's just very fitting.
Yeah.
And
Vivian is a witch.
Yes, we won't be going down that rabbit hole on what with Vivian.
She is a proponent of magic. We'll leave it at that.
Yes.
So next up, Mark, you have Luigi's Mansion. No?
Yeah, we'll keep the Mario theme cooking here with indeed Ouija's Mansion. Sorry, Pat, it's Ouija. The S is silent.
I agree with your decision to go with the original, by the way.
Thank you.
Fully support it. Dark Moon is not scary.
No, it isn't. Luigi's... Yeah, it could have been, but Luigi's just... It goes way too much for comedy in that second one. With, like, all the stuff happening. It's... Like, EGAD is constantly, like, cracking jokes at him and being like, yeah, Luigi, you're kind of dumb and stuff like this. But...
They didn't speak as much in the first one. I don't know what they thought they were doing there. But the fact that you have to constantly leave...
Yeah,
even though you know what the puzzle's going to be.
Yeah. Just, that might be a thing of that it was their decision of a handheld versus a console.
I guess, but especially that ice level, completely ruined by the format of the game.
Yeah. But Dark Moon can be probably its own thing one day, but...
Yeah, we may talk about Luigi games at some point.
Yeah. Concerning Luigi's Mansion, though, the atmosphere is perfect. At the entire game. I mean, you're going around and it's, I don't know, there's just this feel to it that when you play it in fall, or you can play this game with the lights off and it's still pretty intimidating. I mean, they're cartoony ghosts, but it's just the whole, the jumping out factor.
Yeah. And the idea that as you go forward, most of the house gets less creepy as you clear it out.
Right.
Yeah, I like
when
that.
When a room has lit up, that means you're fine. You're safe.
Well, not safe. Sometimes they go dark.
Oh yeah. But for the most part,
Yeah.
like it's like a clearing sensation, yeah. But even though the more you clear, there's always like pretty much danger still around the corner. The boo hunting though, it could have been a little better in this one. Some of them had obnoxious HP. That's probably the worst part of the game for me is hunting down all the boos.
Yeah, the fact that you need to do that too is kind of annoying.
The power ups with the ice and the water and the fire, great ideas, but could have been implemented a lot better. Would have loved a reserve tank. I really would have. Like, oh, you can like switch out a bag. Like this bag has still fire. This has a bag of water. Stuff that EGAD intentionally forgets about in Dark Moon.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, ice level. So I'll get the fire ability at some point, or apparently not.
No, you won't. With the first one, since it's all just one big mansion, as well, it definitely feels like it's part of just a bigger adventure.
Oh, for sure. Not like other Mario's missing games. You actually have a legitimate issue with Mario being missing.
And one of the parts I really like in Luigi's Mansion is when you actually go outside for like the first time, like I think in the courtyard.
Yeah.
It's just the fact that you're actually able to step out of the house for a second. Yeah, there's ghosts out there, but it's just it's a chance to step away, and the atmosphere is still continued outside. It's dark and it's windy. I think it might be a little rainy too.
Yeah, there's a lightning storm going on for most of the game.
Yeah. And the music is perfect in the game too. Perfectly atmospheric.
Little known fact, this was supposed to be in 3D. And,
oh yeah, I had heard.
Yeah. And I've always kind of wanted a 3DS port of it.
I'm surprised they didn't announce it with Dark Moon.
I don't think the 3DS can handle it. That's the issue at hand.
Mm.
If they ever go back to a 3D console, I would love to see a port of this.
And it's one of those great games too, where it borrowed those elements you had from other like certain era of Nintendo, where they judged you on your performance a lot.
Yeah.
Like you play that game for the first time, you're probably not going to do very well. You're not going to get all the money. You're gonna blow catching those rare ghosts.
I mean, according to Dark Moon, the canon ending is that you get a little shack with a fence around it.
But the first time you play, it's like, yeah, you're probably not gonna do well. You're not gonna get the gold framed portraits.
No.
When you find out it's one of those score beating games,
Yeah.
you go back.
That's what makes it so sinister.
Yeah, that's evil. It's like you've escaped, but they pull you back in. And when you go for the good ending, and you go for like all the diamonds and so on and so forth. I mean, the final fight could be a little better, King Boo and Bowser, but it worked for what
It's so weird. Are they saying Bowser is dead, or is that a Bowser suit? They're never clear about that.
I think it was just like a robot or something, like a doll that he was just possessing.
It had to have been, yeah. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, Bowser was definitely not there. I think it was just something King Boo grabbed.
One thing Dark Moon did better is the last boss. I have to give it that.
Yeah, that fight's much better. That's for sure. You could get a lot of King Boo's health off first game.
Yeah.
First time he pops out.
Yeah, if you know what you're doing, it's pretty easy.
Yeah. What's great with the first game's mansion, too, is it actually felt like it was a legitimate, believable house.
Yeah. It did it. It had bedrooms and bathrooms and a kitchen.
Yeah.
Like, you can think in better days it was a nice place to live.
Yeah. Then whatever happened, and...
Well, yeah, it was never real to begin with. So.
Yeah.
That I don't quite get.
like Ghost and Goblins. It's all an illusion.
Yeah.
So Luigi was just standing in place for the entire time. He did win by doing absolutely nothing.
Good old Luigi.
But it's an excellent game. Player's choice for a reason. Launch game too. I mean, I went with Rogue Squad. Rogue Squad Rebel.
I think I got both.
I got the one
playing a Rogue Squadron game.
I did. I picked up Ouija's though, like a couple years later after I'd gotten on the player's choice. So I'm glad I did. Yeah, because I think it's a little not like hard to get now, but it's like not as cheap.
It's not a rare game, but it's uncommon.
Yeah, I think what happened when they announced Dark Moon, everybody wanted to play the original again, since it's like GameCube games just were never going to happen for the Wii U. And hey, look at that.
Yeah, but maybe next console.
I might make it a point to play the Luigi's Mansion before like Halloween. I try to play it like maybe once every couple years.
You should play it on Halloween. That's the time to do it. Try to get the game done before you go to sleep.
Speedrun hype. Yeah. Well, I don't get trick-or-treaters, so that's pretty easy to do.
On your road, I find that hard to believe with all the forests and no sidewalks.
No sidewalks. The only housing plan is across the street and up a hill. Yes.
No, I don't get them either.
No trick-or-treaters in the last 20-ish years.
Not bad.
Yeah.
Old man Vajoni's house. Okay, so let's move on. Speaking of haunted houses, Mark, there's a disturbance in the forest outside of Raccoon City. Let's take the chopper and investigate. That's right.
Can I bring my rocket launcher?
Yeah, but leave it on the helipad. We won't need it right away.
Oh, okay, good.
And you can drop it down to me if the situation calls for it.
We're talking about Metal Gear, I understand.
Yes, clearly. The new Metal Gear Solid game, Metal Gear Solid Crystal Chronicles. No.
Crystal Pepsi.
Crystal-headed zombies. I don't know what cannot. Metal Gear Solid subtitle Konami hates us. No. We're talking about Resident Evil, people. But not just anyone. Specifically, Resident Evil Remake, which is available for your Xbox or PlayStation device right now. I think.
Ooh, I can just feel that ad revenue coming in.
I wish. Though, you should play it on the original GameCube. Not because it'll play any better, but because you'll be a hipster about it, and everyone knows hipsters are cool. This is the definitive version of Resident Evil. It's unfortunately not canon. They've never included any of the aspects of it from in the future games, but it has remix scares. Like, you've all played everyone's played the first Resident Evil, and you go down that hallway, the dog jumps out of the window. It happens in every playthrough of every version of the game, except Remake. You go down that hallway, you're waiting for that damn dog, he never shows up. 2 hours later, you're going back through that hallway, that dog came for you. And you lose it. It's a legitimately scary game. The remixed jump scares help a lot. They added, I forget I think Alice is her name, the unkillable woman. They added her, which gives a lot of tension to certain sections, because she's walking around, and she literally is unkillable. You cannot take care of her. In fact, I don't think you really ever get to kill her in the game. It's pretty screwed up. New cinema scenes. But the most important part, if you do not cremate a zombie, it will wake up, and it will be horrifying. Redhead zombies are faster, stronger, and have knives for hands. They are not fun to fight. You'll forget about them sometimes. And in a game where you backtrack so much, that's legitimately terrifying. They added some extra stuff. So if you're grabbed by a zombie, Jill can shove a a flashbang grenade into their mouth, which is an instant decapitation. Decapitated zombies won't come back from the dead. Again, I should say. And I think Steve has knives. I might have those, or not Steve. Chris has knives. Who's Steve? Well, our Steve. Anyway, Steve might have knives. We don't know. But Chris has knives, and you can stab him, and the zombie will stagger away. It adds a level of management to the game because there's only so much oil. So you have to make sure you kill zombies that you know you're going to have to worry about later. Or if you're Jill, you have the grenade launcher. And there's a glitch in the game where you can make infinite incendiary grenades. So, yeah, you don't have to worry about that with her. But it's really fun just going through this game, not really knowing what to expect. They changed up a few of the bosses to make them harder. The shark is a boss now. There's some really freaky timed elements. The snake is more fun to fight because it's not stuck on these ugly pre-rendered backgrounds anymore. Let's see. I don't think there's a giant bee. I kind of wish there was. But yeah, overall I like it. Of the Resident Evils, I feel like this one is the best at what it's attempting. And that is to be a scary movie. A cheesy 70s, 80s, early 80s scary movie with zombies. Resident Evil 4 is still my favorite, but this one is the best one to play during Halloween, I think. So, let's see. Next up, Mark, you have Super Castlevania, which I think we both agreed is Castlevania 3.
4?
4, maybe? It's the first one for Super Nintendo. We'll just leave it at that.
Well, we'll leave it at that. Didn't play it all the way back then, but I recently played it a couple years ago when it went on to the Wii U Virtual Console. And, the Castlevania series is just one of those series I never initially had gotten into, but because, I heard they were ridiculously hard.
They are, because they were originally arcade games, and Konami don't rebalance things.
Yeah. So, like hell, I'll ever probably play the original, which Super Castlevania is just like a remix version of the first one, but it's fair.
Yeah. Well,
fairer.
As fair as it can get.
Fairer, yeah. But, I mean, you got...
hit things above you, I think.
Yes, you can hit things above you. You can't hit anything on stairs still, I'm pretty sure.
No, you're pretty much screwed on stairs.
Yeah, that's the Belmont's curse, is not Dracula, it's stairs.
That's
but
why
still,
you don't put elevators in this.
Yeah. But, I mean, Castlevania, it only makes sense. I mean, you're going around, you fight Dracula. I mean, for goodness sake, all the classic, like, Halloween monsters are there. You're attacking Frankenstein's monster, you're attacking, like, Medusas and bats and all kinds of unholy, like, monsters, mummies and, like, possessed, like, suits of armor and demons and the whole nine, so
yes,
it's only perfect. Like, you're fighting all the Halloween things, including some that are just not even from Halloween, really, just these weird, just otherworldly-ish creatures.
I'm going to look up some of the enemy names, because they're hilarious.
That's okay.
It is Super Castlevania 4.
Excellent.
Because the first Castlevania on SNES was Castlevania 3. Or no, never mind. I'm looking at the same box with a different cover.
I mean, the game is challenging, but it's fun at the same time. When you start figuring out how to really effectively use your sub-weapons.
Yeah. And
take advantage of certain enemy AI and whatnot. Well, the Slogra can go straight to hell. He knows why. Graphically really good for the Super Nintendo era. Could be a little better, but it's still really nice.
Yeah.
The music is phenomenal. Like, I had always heard that the Castlevania series had good music, but...
It does. It's hard to explain it. Like, it's sort of like if church music was heavy metal.
Like, I think my favorite track, it's cliche, but it's Bloody Tears. Has to be. Going through the clock tower, that level itself, and you just have that play in the background, it's just like all the more fitting.
Yes.
And you're going through you're going through a haunted mansion in this too, basically. Well, haunted castle, but even still, well, what's beautiful about this one was it wasn't just the castle. You had like all these extra stages as well, like getting to the castle in the first place. So just challenging gameplay, but all the more rewarding when you do take those bosses down and you figure stuff out. And this one wasn't designed to chew your quarters away, so maybe your sanity, but
yeah, well, Castlevania games are known for the latter, so it's fine. You don't need sanity to play.
No. Now I might at one point play 3, or the one that lets you, get all the extra characters, like the one mage and that. Maybe it was.
That's Rondo of Blood, Dracula X, I think.
Oh, is it?
The version you want to play, you can't get on a Nintendo console.
Is that PlayStation?
Yeah, it's on PS Plus, I think.
Okay. But there's also like Symphony of the Night that I could have probably considered too, but I never played it. But everybody just talks about it and loves it so much. I feel like as a whole, though, that the Castlevania series, barring like Castlevania 64 and Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest, I think for the most part, I think they all would fit as a good Halloween playing game. Just due to the nature of them all.
They don't have the English names on the wiki. It's a shame. I remember one of them, the dancing ghosts, were called Fred Askare. And something else. Oh well.
But we'll be mentioning something Castlevania-esque near the end, but for now we'll just leave it at the Castlevania series, barring a few entries. It's just all the fitting because you're fighting Halloween and monsters and whatnot. So.
I would argue the second N64 game that was a Blockbuster exclusive or something, where you play as a werewolf, was actually pretty good.
I never even knew that was a thing.
Yeah, it's very hard to find. Not a lot of people played it.
Huh. Never knew. I only knew about 64 thanks to the nerd.
Yeah, they used that engine for what it was worth. It was pretty neat. The werewolf played more like a beat-em-up, though. It was a remix of the first game.
And I also would not count the, a fighting game that was on the Wii?
I didn't ever get to play that.
It looks so weird.
It does. And I played the game that has some of the characters from that in it, like Saint Germain and
there's also like
or whatever.
There was like that reboot or that retcon too, I think.
That one did pretty well, but that was around the time Konami quit caring about video games. So we're done with Castlevania. No one's ever going to see that again. Also,
right now,
I play too much like God of War. I don't want that in a Castlevania game.
I'm currently juggling the DS games too at the moment.
They're all pretty good. The Soma is the star of most of them, and he plays about the same in both.
So, now that I've gotten a couple of games off my list, I'll start bumping up some of these ones I picked up and put down, like back up again.
Yeah.
But one game at a time. This is why I think this NX drought is kind of a good thing, where it's allowing me to catch up, but it still sucks at the same time.
True. At least you're not me. At least you didn't pay $40 for Recore, based on faith that the guys at Left Retro were any good.
Oof.
If you follow me on Twitter, you've seen the series of tweets I left about it. I'm going to do a full review. But this game, oh my god, this game doesn't want to end. And the worst part is, I've only played like 4 story missions. So it's not, anyway, the next game on the list. Kirby's Adventure. I don't know why I picked Kirby's Adventure, but Kirby always gives me sort of maybe it's all the food, Fall Harvest, but I always kind of get like and he does wear costumes. I always kind of got a Halloween-y vibe off Kirby. I don't think he's ever released the game in October. But
I think Return to Dreamland was November, I think.
Yeah.
I'll Google that right now while you keep going.
Mm-hmm. But I don't know. Adventure in particular, when I think about it, it's just got this really, like, winter is coming theme to it. Especially the last boss is a vampire. And if you lose, everyone in Dreamland will have bad dreams forever.
Good news, Jason. Return to Dreamland was October 24th, 2011.
Oh, there you go, then. It introduced Meta Knight, too, which I guess is kind of cool. I don't know, this is the game that cemented Kirby for me, I think, in a lot of ways. Obviously, it gave him his signature abilities. DD became more of an anti-hero than an out-and-out villain. Yeah.
I feel
the color palette helps, I think. It's a lot of oranges and stuff, especially as you get towards the end.
My earliest Kirby's were the Game Boy ones.
Yeah, I'd never played. I still haven't played the original Dreamland. I played it on the remake.
Oh yeah, the remake anniversary compilation.
I know, the one on Superstar. So I I never fought the Zeppelin until Roboboss.
A fun boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see the vampire being a definite boss for that. Dark Matter, I think, is a pretty scary-ish boss.
Dark Matter.
And so is Zero. Yeah, it
Zero.
goes from like this dark swordsman to like this blob. But the fact that it was possessing King Dedede as it like comes ripping out of his body.
It was the Venom symbiote.
Well, it's like I don't know where that image is, but I know I saw one where somebody took the first screen and last screen of Kirby's Squeak Squad, where it's like the one screen on the left says Kirby was sitting down to enjoy his delicious like strawberry shortcake.
Yeah.
Then it cuts over to the final scene where it's like the treasure chest contained Dark Nebula, a spirit from the underworld. It's like this is the same game.
That game had so many problems.
I like Squeak Squad though.
I don't. If I had to pick the worst Kirby game, it's Squeak Squad.
I would say Mass Attack.
I would argue that the Spirit of Mass Attack. Well, that's a spin-off. Those never count for Kirby.
But
Main Kirby games are where he steals powers and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. We shall settle this in Smash.
Yes. I don't know how, but we'll figure it out. But yeah, that's all I really have to say on Kirby. I think... Oh, also, you get to kill the sun and the moon. In Kirby's Adventure.
Damn it, you just delayed the game by like 3 months.
I miss Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. They never come back.
Yeah, they weren't even in, they weren't in Return.
I thought they'd be in Robobot, at least.
Yeah, I would think Beings from Space would have done
Krakow finally came back after the longest time.
I thought they would have mechanized, mechanizing Sun and Moon.
That's what I was hoping, like they had a jetpack or something.
Yeah, like big metallic meteors coming at you and just like a big old soul like hyper beam up from the sun.
I don't know, the reason they're my favorite is because of all things Kirby's Avalanche. This is why I still say DD Day sometimes. They would announce who you're fighting, and they all had these funny voices attached to them with the same guy narrating, though. So we get to Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright, and there'd be this deep voice that goes, Mr. Shine! And then a little girl out of nowhere goes, hey, Mr. Bright! It's funny every time you hear it.
I believe it.
The way he says King Dedede Day is freaking amazing.
I would like to see them come back, yeah.
Maybe someday. Well, the next Kirby game has to take place in space, so...
Kirby Kirby resurgence.
Yes.
Mm.
Kirby Fight for the Future. I guess the next game would be time travel. I don't know where they can go from Robobot except that.
Let's find out what Studio Trigger's doing.
Okay. Next up, this is a shared one. Lavender Town from Pokemon.
Yes.
Only Game Boy, Gen 1 Game Boy Pokemon. Because the music is screwed up in every other version, and I don't know why.
Yeah. It's the definitive experience. Gen 1 for it.
It is the legit creepiest music for a chiptune I've ever heard.
Yes.
And it'll stay that way forever.
Yes. And what's fitting is...
and it's sad, too.
And Red and Blue came out in fall.
Yes.
20 years ago, so it fits perfectly. So
The only place
like,
to get ghost Pokemon in Kanto.
Yeah, that's it. I mean, and plus the town is so quiet.
Mm-hmm.
Like you come out of Rock Tunnel. It's like, all right, thank God I got out of that cave, and it's like, oh, welcome to the town of the dead.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there's no gym here. I should just get the hell out of here.
Yeah. But you can't.
Nope.
Because Cubone's mother died.
Yes. The heavy...
And now every Cubone's mother has to be dead. That's probably the only part I don't like about Lavender Town. One Cubone's mom died.
So the whole...
Apparently now all of them have to. I'll never get that.
I mean, it was pretty freaky when you went into the tower and you actually ran into the ghost before the Silph Scope.
Well, what really makes... If you know anything about Japan, they're at a point where they have rooftop cemeteries now. And it's a real possibility that at some point they'll have buildings that are entirely just mausoleums in the middle of cities. So it's like an eerie vision of the future.
Then they'll tear it down for a radio tower.
Yeah, I love that. It doesn't make any sense. Well, you in Japan, when you die, you're cremated no matter what. So it's actually a little easier to move remains. They never tell you where they move them. So, that's a little problematic.
Yeah, it's Lavender Town.
Oh no! They moved them to Cinnabar and buried the volcano.
It just, everything adds up in Lavender Town as being a perfect fall / Halloween scary experience. I mean, you
don't have to buy the game, but look up Lavender Town 8-bit on YouTube.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then
the music is worth hearing.
Spiritualists are like clearly possessed and stuff, where they want your blood.
Yes.
They said that in E for Everyone title.
There's a lot of stuff in Gen 1 that never comes back, like the Gamblers.
Yes.
Or...
Beauties, I think, are renamed too.
I think so.
Well, it's hard to remember exactly.
No, I think Beauty is still around.
Maybe Lasses were changed.
No, I know Ace Swimmer's female are changed to one pieces now. Sometimes they used to wear bikinis.
Right.
But yeah.
But it's a spooky place. You want to get out of there, but you have to go back.
It's a fun little detour.
Yeah, and I don't think any area in the Pokemon games have exactly replicated the same kind of experience.
No, like you'll go to other Pokemon cemeteries, but they're usually important for some reason.
Like the ghost house in X and Y was not scary at all.
Yeah.
It was just like a stupid little like bonding thing with your rivals and that.
Yeah.
Then you get your
story,
crappy,
yeah.
you get your scary story, and then you decide if you want to tip the guy.
And
I would
there
say
are actual ghosts in X and Y though.
Yes, the ghost girl that pervades throughout the entire Pokemon series.
Mm-hmm.
Definite honorable mention. But yeah, it all started in Lavender Town, and that's, I think, the definitive one.
Yeah. So yeah, next up we have, I've never played this series before, Seventh Guest for, I'm assuming, NES?
No, sir. This is a CD-ROM.
Oh, how classy.
Oh, classy as hell, man. Okay, let me get his page back up real fast. Just real fast to refresh my own memory, like on who made it and that. Well, I'm sure you can find it on other stuff by now. But it was created by Virgin Games in 1993.
Ah, the hit makers.
Yes. It was produced by Trilobite and released by Virgin in 93. Yes, it was one of the first computer video games to be released only on the CD-ROM. Okay, so let's see. Ooh, the game has been ported to different formats and systems such as iOS. I think it's in the Apple App Store. So, Bill Gates called it the new standard in interactive entertainment. Don't know when he said.
Bear in mind, this is from like 1992. So.
Yes, 1992. It's 93-ish, but yes. Okay, so
we should also explain to younger viewers: CDs are metallic discs that hold information.
Yes, they're the things before your MP3s and
where all information permeated every part of our being.
Went to Android in 2015.
Huh.
Okay, so basically, the Seventh Guest is it's a point and click puzzle. Like, it's not a visual novel, just like a point and click game that's filled with puzzles. And basically, it starts off with this guy. He was a drifter. His name is Henry Stoff. He kills this woman and took her money, and he used the money to like craft like toys. So he sells the toys like to get like food and like lodging, because he's a drifter. He's selling it all. So anyway, he actually does become a successful toy maker, and he builds himself a mansion. But the thing is, kids that have been buying, parents that are getting the toys for their kids are getting sick and dying. And then Stoff he just completely disappears off the face of the earth. But it's believed he's in his mansion there. So you flash forward to like the present, and like a bunch of people are now inside the mansion, invited by Stoff here. I haven't had a chance to see like all the names of people, but there's a number of people in there. Oh, 6. It's 6 because duh.
This looks like Maniac Mansion.
Well, you're trying to find this 7th guest that Stoff has invited, but nobody has figured out who it is yet. Spoiler alert, it's you, the player. Well, that's not exactly fair. There's a lot more to that, but the idea is you point and click around Stoff's mansion, and when you solve puzzles, you trigger cinema scenes and like that advance the story. Like, you find out certain things about certain characters. You unlock a little bit more information about, like, Stoff and all that. Yeah. Figuring out more on who the actual 7th guest is and the significance of it all. So the puzzles can vary. I mean, the very first puzzle, no, that's the second puzzle in the game. I almost made a faux pas there. One of the puzzles I remember distinctly was you're all in the kitchen, and like there's this cake there, and it's laid out grid style, and the cake's adorned with like skulls and like statues pieces, or just plain pieces. Yeah. And the puzzle is, it goes 2 skulls, 2 stones, the rest is just icing. That's how it's worded. So that means you have to give each person 5 pieces, but they all have to be interconnected, and they have to at least contain 2 skulls, two whatevers, and 1 that's just plain. And it has to be all adjoining. So it's no jumping around. And when you solve the puzzle correctly, like there's a hint like underneath the tray and all that jazz. But yeah, there's another one where you have to go through like a cryptic basement. open up, like it's kind of like a lights out puzzle where you open up one coffin and the other ones all around it all open up, but you close one. Oh, the ones adjoining it open and close respectively, and there's only like 9 of them. And like the traditional, like I guess like a phone pad, like 3 across, 3 calls.
So this is basically where your love of,
Leighton?
I guess visual novel games and stuff, came from.
I suppose, come to think about it. It's definitely creepy atmosphere. There is death and...
Well, that is the 7th.
All that. Yes, there is. What made the game fun, too, at the time was because the idea of having, cinema scenes in your video games.
Are they live action? FMV?
Maybe. I'm too lazy to YouTube it right now.
I think they pretty much have to be. They wanted to animate that.
No, yeah, it was live action. Okay, I had order. But it's definitely creepy. The music is pretty creepy too. Like the main puzzle solving theme that plays during it all too. You're never timed on any of these puzzles. You can go to the library in the game and get hints on how to solve puzzles, but if you do it so many times, the puzzle will automatically solve itself. Some of them it doesn't work on though. But if you make it automatically solve itself, you won't get the cinema scenes in that, so you won't have a part of the story. So you need to not cheat, so that way you get the entire story. So it all leads up to a confrontation up in the attic, but I'll leave it at that. Because I thought it was the end for the longest time, but he did come out with a sequel sometime later. Where are you at? The 11th Hour. I never played it, don't know anything about it. The game was a complete shock to me when I looked it up. He tried to make a third game by a Kickstarter, but
okay, now this is just sounding exactly like 999.
Well, I mean, the game was champion there for a long time, so... But, it was also during the big, everybody wants to contribute Kickstarter money era of, 2013?
Yeah. Though, I mean, that was the point where people were starting to get burned out, too.
That's true. So, yeah, it's like I said, it's on so many formats now.
Yeah.
You can pick it up if you're mildly curious. There's only 21 puzzles in the game, and they vary in their difficulty. Some of them, like the cake one, are ridiculously easy. There's another one where you get a chessboard, and the puzzle is you have to place, I think, 8 or 9 queens on the board without any of them intersecting with each other.
Huh.
So you actually have to think about that pretty hard. There is one with these bishops. There's at least a few chess related ones. It's a pain in the ass where you get knights and you have to make them the black ones swap with the white ones and stuff. Yeah, you have to arrange it. They all switch spots. I hate that one. I think I had to read an old fashioned game FAQ guide where it had grid style with X's and stuff.
Oh wow!
This is. Ugh.
You had better luck with PC gaming than me. I'll tell you that.
Well, that and Indiana Jones were the only 2 PC games I did back then.
Oh wow, you really lucked out.
Yeah. Legend of Atlantis, or whatever it was called.
That's actually one of the worst LucasArts point-and-click games, too.
I know.
So, I think that wraps most of it up, though we do have 2 honorable mentions. The Zelda series as a whole has some fairly creepy moments.
Redeads.
Oh, yes. It introduced us to Redeads. Basically, from N64 on, Onoma has shared his nightmares with us.
Yes. Majora's Mask. The whole
Majora's
game.
Mask in particular.
It's so dark. There's death. And you're wearing masks and costumes.
there's a ghost ship in Spirit in
Wind Waker.
Yeah, well, there's two ghost ships, Wind Waker, and then Phantom Hourglass has one. Spirit Tracks has a ghost. A cute ghost, but a ghost nonetheless. Whose grandfather might have reincarnated into a little boy that she's dating now. But we won't get into that.
It's Japan, so it's okay.
It's okay if you die and come back as the exact same person.
But yeah, there's tons of those kind of.
Yeah.
He
just lives with a 102-year-old man for no reason.
The Shadow Temple.
Yes. Oh, yes. The Shadow Temple, of course.
Twilight.
With the graveyards.
Yeah, poor, like, Dante?
Dempy.
Dempy.
The Gravekeeper Dempy.
Yes.
Pose get progressively creepier as the series goes on.
Pose and Stalfos. Those, oh, and of course the
Zant. Everything was Zant.
Yeah, either way.
Tongue. Oh, the tongue. Yerhim. Again with the tongue. People call him a gay panic boss, but I'm like, he's not gay. He's a robot. A crazy robot, but a robot. He doesn't have a sexuality. He's just creepy.
He's a sword spirit. That's all he is.
He reflects his master's desires, and his master is kind of screwed up demon god, so I don't think he's going to be very normal.
Yeah, nah. Yeah. The whole Dark World and / Low Rule.
Yeah, Low Rule in particular. Everyone is wearing a mask. Very Halloween.
Yes.
They're ruled by a goth girl. Their hero is an emo with purple hair. Oh my god. That's the most Halloween thing. They're all very... it's just a funny place, Lou. Okay, so I think that's it for Zelda. And then we wanted to talk a little bit about Bloodstained. You may remember Bloodstained as a game that was supposed to come out in a few months. They just recently delayed it. Which, not unexpected. Every Kickstarter game gets a delay. That's just how it's going to be, folks.
Yep.
But I have high hopes, because Igarashi knows how to make video games. It won't look half as ugly as Mighty Number 9 did.
Woo!
Because it looks like he's sticking with 2D models instead of a 3D model on a 2.5D plane. He's still using Unreal 3, but there's nothing we can do about that.
Jason, would you murder me terribly if I thought of the one Halloween thing that we both overlooked?
Oh, what would that be?
Mad Monster Mansion.
From Banjo-Kazooie.
Yes.
That's pretty overt, yeah.
Hang on, pause.
No, it's fine. I don't think we have much to say on Bloodstained. We would have just talked about how it's going to be good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mad Monster Mansion is literally a haunted mansion that you explore as a pumpkin.
Yes. I can't believe we didn't think of it right off the bat.
It's so late in Banjo-Kazooie, it's easy to forget about it.
Hmm. You're going through the graveyard, like, all the tropes are there.
It's even, yeah, there's a big graveyard up to the entrance of the level, too, which I thought was amazing.
Yep. Tombstones with, like, the developer names on it, I think.
Yeah. And some video game characters. I think Gex was one of them. Gex.
There's the hedge maze that I'd like to assume they wanted to lift from, like, Psycho or something. Or not Psycho, The Shining.
Yeah, probably The Shining.
The organ music.
Yeah.
No, like Dracula, but they had, like, bats.
There were bats, there were crazy wolves, living plants, a ghost that you had to not wake up.
not Nabber. Nabber's the one from Gobi's Valley.
Yeah.
I forget what his name is.
He's a repaint of Nabber.
Hmm.
There's a toilet that talks.
The graves that talk when you put an egg in their urn.
Oh yeah.
Which, contrary to popular belief, they say thank you. They don't say fuck.
Yeah. Nintendo would never have let that fly, everyone.
No. I think that's Grant Kirkhope that said it. I think he's the one that's like, guys, that's me, and I'm saying thank you.
He did it in a really like Bela Lugosi accent, but yeah. I mean, 8-bit or not 8-bit, but the sound transfer on the N64 wasn't the best, folks. Everyone, so don't worry.
No.
And I don't think they didn't. I guess they had Grunty Land as the closest in Banjo-Tooie, but there wasn't really a Halloween.
Well, if we want to stick with Rare for a second, I mean, you have the obvious Conquer area.
Yeah.
I forget what that chapter was called, but...
Yeah, the vampire stuff,
Yeah,
I didn't care much for that. It was fun for about 5 seconds, but...
Yeah,
it didn't make any sense.
It's an unpopular opinion I have, but I'm not that crazy on Conquer.
No, you're not alone. I used to play it a lot in high school with friends, but it really is, unless you have a good group of people to play the bank robber mode, which isn't in new versions of the game, even though it's the best part of it, it's really not a fun game. It's very straightforward. You basically go A, B, C, D, blah, blah, blah. And they didn't know what to do with it, so they did a bunch of movie parodies that haven't aged well.
Better than Gex, at least.
Everything is better than Gex. But I would have rather played the original concept for Conquer than what he became. But he's so tied to that game now that that'll never happen.
Mm-hmm. So now that we pissed off that fan base.
There's not a big Conquer fan base. I don't think, frankly, the group of people that still like Conquer because he's an edgy guy who fought a pile of crap, literal pile of crap, are probably not gonna like us anyway.
But to actually put it back on the bloodstained path, it's like, it looks like it's going to be perfectly fine. Like, calling it now, the Wii U version's going to die.
Yeah. Which is a pity, but that probably means we can fight Shovel Knight without an amiibo.
It's true. Maybe if Shantae gets one by then, too. Of course, who knows when...
Mark, you're never going to get that Shantae amiibo.
It's going to happen, man.
It's going to come with 2 black bars wrapped around her.
If Iga would get Shantae model, I'm sure that would be pretty wild. Because we all saw,
they'd let him.
We saw that boss from the demo.
Oh, you never played Symphony, did you?
No, I said I didn't.
No. Let's just say that he's not a fan of bikini tops. Leave it at that.
Well, I mean, if it's anything to judge it by, in the demo for Bloodstained, when you're fighting that boss, she actually takes more damage if you hit her in the boobs.
Yeah.
So let's just keep Shantae away from Bloodstained.
She's one of the unlockable characters you can play through the game as.
Oh, God. She's an honorable mention, too, by the way, folks, with the Roddy Top stuff.
It's only in Mark's honorable mentions. We are a family podcast.
For the love of God.
Count out of that Shantae stuff.
They're E10 for the love of God.
Well, I don't know who rates this. Let me tell you. This should be T for teen.
It's that guy from that South Park that was part of the airport security. But I love how with Bloodstained, like when the guy from Jimquisition, God, I forget his real name. I'll just say Jim and cover my ass.
Yes.
Jim. When he was playing the Bloodstained demo, like people were like, "Oh, you're doing it wrong." So his rebuttal to it was just a whole video of him doing the backdash for like 10 minutes, being I think in the same room.
Well, I mean those type of games are hard, so I don't think it, especially modern Igavania, because he does put in a lot of combos and stuff, and it's very involved.
Well, he made it that there was no like enemies or anything in the room. He was just having her do the backdash, just back and forth, just as a big.
I would do that to piss people off too.
Yeah, just as a big middle finger to everybody saying, "Why aren't you backdashing? It's the faster way."
I hate when people tell me to do stuff like that. Like, why don't you roll all the time as Link? Because he says "Hiya" every time you roll.
Yeah. Well, hit mute. No, then I can't hear the game's music.
Yeah. Speed. Ugh. So I think that wraps it up. Next week, I haven't decided yet. We'll either do spooky merchandise from Halloween's past or movies.
Movies
with
would
a
be...
nostalgic tint. We might criticize them too.
Ooh.
Some sort of nostalgia. No, can't do that. Never mind.
Well, if we do that, we have to include like 3 crappy sketches during our videos.
Yeah. Break up the flow of the review with 2 guys who I don't care about from other YouTube channels.
Damn it, we have a robot house, what's the word I'm looking for? Channel awesome style. Like network.
We weren't bought out by Disney, unfortunately, so. But yeah, I think we'll do movies next week. Hopefully Steve will be here. Because he'll pick some Japanese movies, I hope. But
well,
we'll see.
We should have like a straw poll. Like, what should we talk about? Like, damn it, people, why? No, we're not going to do the Mary-Kate and Ashley movie.
We don't have enough viewers to do a poll for anything.
All right, with a resounding 1 vote.
We'd all vote, and it would all be different things, and there wouldn't be any consensus. Oh, well. Yeah. So we'll see you guys next week. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and you can follow us at the links at the bottom of the page. And please follow us on Twitter, too, at King Reptor for me, at Analyst Duelist for Mark. And we'll see you guys later.